Good evening. The young boys trapped inside a Thai cave have sent messages of hope to their parents, while the football coach who led them in there has sent a letter of apology. Rescuers say they're not ready to begin the evacuation process because the boys' diving skills aren't yet up to scratch. Let's go now live to our reporter on the spot, Omar Dabbagh, his cave site. Omar, what was contained in the letters?
Good evening to you, Lee Lin. Well, the boys wrote that they're desperate to get out of the caves as quickly as possible, understandably so, but they also wanted to pass on messages to their parents not to worry because everyone is strong. These heartfelt, touching, handwritten letters were the first to be delivered outside of the cave. Other than the videos that Thai rescuers have been filming of the boys, they've delivered messages of gratitude and love, saying they're being well taken care of. One of the boys hoped his parents won't forget his birthday. Another said he can't wait to get out so he can have his favourite food of fried pork. As you said, Lee Lin, interestingly, we heard from that 25-year-old football coach who says he's sorry to the parents of the boys for the dire predicament that they're in. This is as their delicate rescue operation enters a second week, so far without success.
Rescuers navigate through the labyrinth cave complex, battling near-zero visibility, strong currents and dangerously low oxygen levels. The trapped boys are located so deep within the cave, they'll need to endure these conditions for at least 5 hours before they make it to freedom. Thai authorities say the rescue mission will be held off as conditions are now said to be improving. And with having the boys scuba dive out still the preferred rescue method, time is needed to improve their skills.
They cannot dive at this time.
Downpours over the last day have had little effect on the water levels inside the cave, but that could change quickly due to forecast monsoonal rain.
ภารกิจเราเนี่ยมิชชั่นเนี่ยเรามี3ภารกิจนะครับค้นหากู้ภัยแล้วก็ส่งกลับนะครับเราทุกคนจะมีความรู้สึกว่าเมื่อค้นเจอแล้วเนี่ยเราประสบความสำเร็จ
Exactly when the rescue mission will take place remains uncertain.
Governor, can you confirm if or if not there'll be an attempt to rescue the boys in the next day or two? Can you confirm if or if not that is a potential option? Can you confirm?
No answer. Rescuers continue their frantic effort to pump huge volumes of water out of the cave. This diver says the levels are now low enough for them to walk between the first 2 chambers. But the death of a retired Thai Navy SEAL has served as a grim reminder of the high level of risk involved. Dangerously low oxygen levels caused his death, and authorities now fear the boys could face the same fate. They're working to get a 5-kilometre pipe into the cave to supply more air, while also trying to feed a fibre optic cable through the group to connect them to their families. And some comfort in the form of communication between the boys and their parents in the form of letters sent out by the divers, including one from the 25-year-old coach who wrote, "I promise I will care for the kids as best as possible. I want to say thanks for all the support and I want to apologise to the parents."
There have been so many unknowns here over the past fortnight, but the one constant has been the generosity of the human spirit. Hundreds of volunteers have descended on Chiang Rai from Thailand and around the world to help in any way they can. They're offering food, water, and even massages and haircuts to help the rescuers trying to save these young boys, and the media here covering it.
Australia's first medic has arrived on scene, following the federal government's pledge to provide more help on the ground. Amid the uncertainty, a moment of reflection to honour the life of Saman Gunan. Before he boarded a plane to join the rescue operations, the retired Navy SEAL recorded this message. It's luck his fellow rescuers are clinging to, their determination strengthened by his death.
Authorities are growing more and more concerned about the decreasing air supply inside the cave. They don't want to rush any rescue efforts until they need to. They want to ensure that these boys are as mentally and physically prepared as possible, and that rescuers have rehearsed and refined all of their plans of attack. They've also been drilling 100 chimney holes into the cave as an option. Meanwhile, the predicted forecast of storms have not yet hit. It has been very unpredictable weather here in Chiang Rai. It was overcast half an hour ago. Now it is very hot and humid, but authorities are well aware that conditions can change very quickly, and they're trying to ensure that if and when that happens, that they're well prepared to react. Lee Lin.
Our thanks there to Omar Dabbagh.
His death will not be in vain and will not hamper rescue efforts. Janice.
Thanks. That's Omar Dabbagh updating us live from Chiang Rai. Good evening. A former Thai Navy diver has died risking his life to save the 12 boys and their football coach trapped inside a flooded cave. SBS reporter Omar Dabbagh joins us now live from the cave site at Chiang Rai. Omar, what impact is the death of the diver having on the rescue effort?
Well, Janice, authorities and rescue crews were so focused on saving these children and getting them out alive that to lose one of their own has been a huge blow. 38-year-old Suman Gunan was an ex-Thai Navy SEAL diver. He came out of retirement purely to help here with this mission. His death proves a tragic setback for an already complex and delicate rescue operation. The death of the Navy SEAL, a grim development in a rescue operation that's becoming increasingly desperate. Much had hinged on the plan of getting the trapped boys to wear diving masks and having them escorted out of the caves by trained scuba divers. But the death of 38-year-old Saman Gunan has raised serious concerns about whether the children can make it out safely, given an experienced adult failed to survive the conditions. The Navy knows the mission is fraught with danger, but says that every option must be explored.
Does that not mean it is too dangerous to bring children through?
Yes.
So does
But we try everything for the best way to help them.
The presence of hundreds of rescue workers inside the cave had made oxygen levels dangerously low for the boys. The dead Navy diver had been deployed to place air tanks through the tunnels, but ultimately it was he who died from a lack of oxygen.
We send our condolences to the Thai government and of course to the diver's family, but this just underscores how dangerous this rescue mission is.
After the elation here when the boys were first found alive, today's developments have cast a more somber mood in Chiang Rai. Volunteers say it's like they're on a roller coaster of emotions, not knowing if the next update they'll get will be one of good news or one of tragedy.
There's that potential of losing a life, and so, but to have it actually happen, I think it's been a big, sad thing for us here.
It's a major setback for rescuers, but they say it's made them even more determined to push ahead.
ก็ขอยืนยันว่าเราไม่เคยเสียขวัญนะครับกำลังพลของเรายังคงฮึกเหิมกำลังพลพี่น้องเราเนี่ยที่เสียชีวิตไปเนี่ยเราจะไม่ให้สูญเปล่าเราเดินหน้าต่อครับขอบคุณครับ
The operation now a frantic race against time as authorities continue to pump huge volumes of water out of the caves. Clinging to hope if waters recede to waist level, the 12 trapped boys and their coach will be able to wade out of the 4-kilometre stretch of dark, flooded tunnels. But even by foot, the escape route is long and arduous.
ไปเนี่ย6 ชั่วโมงกลับ5 ชั่วโมงเพราะไปเนี่ยมันไปทัวน้ำบางทีซีอิ๊วต้องดำน้ำมันทัวน้ำแต่ขากลับไปตามน้ำ
It's unclear whether authorities will proceed with this plan following the Navy SEAL's death. There were already worries about whether some of the boys were too weak to move. Some, including the coach, who gave his rations of food to the children, are suffering from exhaustion and malnutrition. With desperation mounting ahead of monsoonal weather forecast for this weekend, authorities are looking for a plan B.
เราก็ตรวจอยู่ภูเขาอยู่แต่เราโฟกัสไปตรงจากการที่เราทำทั้งภูเขาแต่เราโฟกัสไปอยู่เหนือแอเรียที่เด็กอยู่และเพื่อวางแผนที่จะข้างบนลงไปข้างล่างเหมือนกัน
But they know even that is fraught with danger. And Janice, that predicted rain came and went early this afternoon. You probably can't tell behind me because it is very hot right now. But early this afternoon, it started with a light sprinkle and ended with a half-hour downpour. The rain has authorities concerned. There's a week's worth of predicted storms coming, and it's a race against time, it's a race against Mother Nature, and it's a race against rain.
And the stakes couldn't be higher. Omar, how will today's tragedy affect the ongoing rescue operation?
Well, Janice, this will force rescuers' hand to either get the kids out now sooner rather than later, or wait this out. At the moment, they've been pumping out about 140 million litres of water and pumping in oxygen. About 30 tanks of oxygen have been pumped through for the boys, which has assured them of air supply for the time being. But with the unpredictability of the weather, there's a lot of uncertainties for this already complex rescue operation. The death today underscores just how difficult it is. The Thai Prime Minister just finally passed on his condolences to the family of Suman Gunan. His spokesperson confirming what Thai police stated, that his death will not be in vain and will not hamper rescue efforts. Janice.
Thanks. That's Omar Dabbagh updating us live from Chiang Rai.
Good evening. In the past hour, Thai authorities have confirmed the mission to rescue those still trapped in a flooded cave has resumed, with more hands on deck to help. It comes after a dramatic night which saw 4 of the 12 boys pulled to safety. Our reporter Omar Dabbagh is near the cave site and joins us now. Omar, what's the likely plan for phase 2 of this dangerous rescue?
Good evening to you, Sarah. It seems as though it's being executed in almost exactly the same way as yesterday. After replenishing the air supply inside the cave that took about 10 hours overnight, divers re-entered the Tam Luang Cave complex at 11 a.m. local time. That's just after 2 p.m. Australian Eastern, and an hour after they did yesterday, and will once again aim to get out 4 of the boys. A round of applause erupted in Chiang Rai last night when it was confirmed that 4 of the boys were out successfully and healthy. But while this is a boost of confidence for everyone here, including the rest of the boys trapped inside the cave with their coach, they know this delicate and difficult operation isn't over yet. Tonight, 8 boys and their football coach are still stuck inside this cave. Getting them out alive is now a race against the weather. The same 18-person team of Thai and international divers will again risk their lives in strong currents and zero visibility. But this time they know there's a forecast for heavy rain that'll fill up the cave. This is their biggest challenge, a tiny 38-centimetre opening underwater. The young boys have no experience diving, but they'll have to pass through here. Against the odds, they have rescued 4 boys. They were raced to hospital. One had to be airlifted, the others taken by road. Authorities say the operation progressed better than expected.
16 วันแห่งการรอคอยนะครับวันนี้เราเห็นหน้าหมูป่าแล้วนะครับ
In the first mission, all 18 divers made their way through the rocky and flooded caverns. Tethered to ropes, 2 divers worked with each boy for the 4-kilometre journey out. The initial plan was to bring the strongest out first, but Adelaide cave diver and Dr. Richard Harris was called in to assess the group, and that strategy was reversed, according to Thai media. Thailand's Interior Minister says the boys are in good condition and resting. The rescued boys remain in sterilised isolation at this hospital in Chiang Rai City, more than an hour's drive from the cave entrance. That means no physical contact with their parents for at least 2 days. Doctors say it's a necessary precaution, but it pushes back a family reunion the boys and their parents have been desperate for. At the cave site, volunteers working around the clock, including this former Australian resident.
I'm very sad, I'm shocked, and I just watch every day, but I'm not serious because I'm believe they will save. Only wait for time and wait for someone. Everyone have ability come to save them lives. That's why we're here now.
Rescuers have been bringing the boys food, water and medicines, hoping to build back their strength.
To be without food and a lot of water for 9 days makes you pretty weak. So it's a period of deconditioning which the boys need to overcome.
The boys have been learning how to swim and practicing going underwater, preparing for the difficult journey out of the cave. The strongest remain, and with water levels likely to rise, they'll need that strength. And Sarah, let's take a closer look at how rescuers are saving these boys. The process includes a mixture of climbing, walking, wading, and diving through the complex, which runs 4 kilometers deep. Each boy is being accompanied by 2 divers who carry the air supply. Now, Sarah, this cave complex is so narrow in some parts. The most narrow is just 38 centimeters wide. That's so narrow the divers have to remove their air tanks to get through. Sarah, at the same time, there is water still being pumped out of the cave, but with that happening, it's unclear just how deep the boys have to go through the water. But the rescuers are not rushing them. They want to take as long as it needs to ensure the boys are all out safe and sound. Sarah.
Thank you to Omar Dabbagh reporting live there near the cave site. Good evening. The third mission to rescue the 4 remaining boys and their football coach from the flooded cave in Thailand is underway. SBS reporter Omar Dabbagh joins us now from Chiang Rai near the cave entrance. Omar, how soon could this all be over?
Well, Sarah, within hours. Good evening to you. 19 divers currently are inside the Tham Luang cave just over my right shoulder to retrieve the final 5. Rescuers say this operation could take longer than yesterday. That could probably be because of the extra person, potentially because of the overnight rain. They've been inside for just over 5 hours and could be out by sunset. If they are out safe and sound, it'll mark the end of an incredible ordeal that began 18 days ago.
The third and final rescue mission began just before 1 p.m. Australian Eastern. The rescuers buoyed by their success over the past 2 days, but only too well aware of how risky the operation is. Thailand and the world are holding their collective breath for the final 5.
เมื่อเวลา 10 น. 8 นาทีชุดปฏิบัติการครั้งที่ 3 ได้เข้าไปในพื้นที่ปฏิบัติการแล้วนะครับณวันนี้มีคนผ่านด่านทีมดำน้ำเข้าไปแล้ว 19 นาย
The Thai Prime Minister paid a visit and was briefed. Yesterday's extraction was 2 hours faster than the first, a much-needed confidence boost. But it's not all good news.
After 2 days of successful rescues, this morning brought what everyone had been fearing: heavy, constant rain. Authorities are worried if strong currents enter the cave, that could severely hamper efforts. They've called this operation a war against the weather, and today they took a hit.
Before the heavens opened, the second group of 4 emerged, the news telegraphed by the sound of helicopters overhead. A sound that's come to symbolize hope here. At the hospital, parents were allowed into the isolation ward, but only to see their sons through glass walls. Doctors say they are worried about infectious diseases. They say all 8 rescued boys had very low body temperatures when they came out, while x-rays on 2 of them showed a suspected pneumonia. They will all remain in hospital for a week.
ชุดแรกมี 4 คนนะซึ่งอายุระหว่าง 14 ถึง 16 ปีนะครับแรกรับทั้งหมดเนี่ยนะก็มีภาวะร่างกายนี่มีอุณหภูมิต่ำ
The trapped boys had been warned about the cave by their grandparents. The cavernous Tham Luang cave is notorious for swallowing people up. To save them, each mission involved at least 18 divers making their way through flooded chambers over razor-sharp rocks. It was hoped they were on high ground at Pattaya Beach, but they were forced further in. Tethered to ropes, 2 divers worked with each boy for the 4-kilometre journey out. Ivan Karadzik was part of the first rescue, stationed at a critical point to replace tanks and guide divers on through.
I was very scared because when I saw the diver and the kid in the horizon, we can't see that far, but maybe about 50 meters, I still didn't know if it was a casualty or if it was a kid. So I was very scared. It didn't feel good. But when I saw that he was alive and breathing and seemed to be all right, it felt very good. It felt very good, yeah.
The bravery of the divers astounding the watching world.
And Sarah, this international operation has truly captivated the world. It's been overwhelming here in Chiang Rai province to see how much how much it has touched the hearts of people. Down the road, a few kilometres away at the press centre, there are walls and walls of messages of support and love for the boys from around the world, from Asia, from Europe. The most moving, a simple sketch of the boys with the message saved. Now, Sarah, the heavens have closed, the sun is up. Hopefully these are good signs that the boys will be rescued in good time, but now we play the waiting game. Sarah.
Indeed we do, and hope for a good outcome. Thank you very much. Omar Dabbagh reporting live there.
Good evening. As we come to you tonight, cave divers in Thailand are underground and the perilous mission to rescue 12 boys and their football coach is underway. And let's go live now to our reporter on the scene, Omar Dabbagh, who's near the cave in Chiang Rai. Omar, now that the rescue mission has begun, have you been given some idea of how long that might take?
Good evening, Lee Lin. Well, we're hearing that this could all be over in just a matter of hours, incredibly so. The operation officially began at 10 a.m. local time and the boys could all be out by midnight. The way this operation will work is divers will use ropes to navigate through the tunnels to get to the boys, and they will be using the buddy system to make their way back out of the caves, which runs about 4 kilometers long. Lee Lin, this is an extremely dangerous operation, even for the most experienced of divers, let alone these children. And as the monsoon weather finally hits Chiang Rai, they face a complex escape. Remember 15 days ago when they first became trapped, they didn't even know how to swim.
At the mouth of the cave, a flurry of activity as the daring rescue mission got underway.
Today we are at the peak of readiness. It's the D-Day. At 10 a.m, 13 professional cave divers entered the cave to carry out the extraction of the kids, including 5 Navy SEALs.
Those 18 divers are now traversing the cave's dark and narrow passages in a painstaking effort to retrieve the trapped boys. Above ground, 13 fully staffed medical teams, helicopters and ambulances stand ready to treat the group when they emerge. This is what the cave entrance has looked like over the past few days. This is how it looks now, the area fully cordoned off and draped in plastic sheets.
After days of rumours and speculation, this morning offered the biggest sign yet that a rescue was imminent. Anyone not directly involved with the rescue was cleared from the mountainside, with volunteers and media moved to this location, 5 kilometres away.
Then finally, the announcement the world had been bracing for. The decision came as a thick band of storm clouds loomed over the Chiang Rai mountains. The forecast monsoonal rain combined with significantly low water levels in the cave meant the mission could no longer be held off.
There is no other day that is as right as today. If we don't start the extraction on the day we most benefit from, we may lose this opportunity or window.
The boys' health, another reason to push ahead. Yesterday, an Australian doctor made the treacherous journey to the group to assess their condition, clearing them for the rescue operation, which he is now part of. Some of the cave's passages are so slim, rescuers must remove their oxygen tanks in order to squeeze through. The gravity of the exercise unlost on everyone involved.
The difficulties cannot be understood by people who aren't here. Many of the diving teams who are here to help even said their ability to reach inside is only until the 3rd chamber, and they cannot go beyond that. The world has never seen such a difficult rescue operation.
That degree of difficulty weighing heavily on the minds of the boys' parents.
Have all the families given their blessing?
No.
The families
they know and they understand.
But with oxygen levels inside the cave dangerously low, and with Plan B, drilling into a shaft in the mountaintop, all but ruled out, they were left with little choice.
And Lee Lin, 100 rescue crews are on standby at the mouth of the Tham Luang Cave complex should anything happen. This has been an incredible story of survival, but while there is light at the end of the tunnel, these boys aren't out yet. And just to reiterate, the rains have just started here. Midnight in Chiang Rai is 3 a.m. Australian Eastern Time. So in the meantime, the world waits with bated breath. Lee Lin.
Thank you very much, Omar. For now, we'll be returning to you for an update later in the bulletin. Meanwhile, we return to our top story, the ongoing rescue of 12 boys and their football coach from a flooded Thai cave. Let's go back to our reporter, Omar Dabbagh, who's near the cave site. Omar, what's expected to happen when the boys are evacuated from the cave?
Good evening to you again, Lee Lin. If everything goes to plan, and that's what the world is hoping for, the boys will be transferred to a local hospital here in Chiang Rai and hopefully given the all clear. Also, just as importantly, they'll be reunited with their parents. But while the rescue authorities are currently in the cave, we haven't been given any indication yet if contact has been reached. The timeline that they've given us seems to indicate that they should have reached the boys by now, and the first group at the very least should be on their way back through that 4-kilometre stretch in the Tham Luang cave complex. However, while there is light at the end of the tunnel, as I mentioned before, this is a very delicate and dangerous rescue operation, and rescuers, divers inside the cave are not going to rush these boys. They're going to try and give them as much time as possible to navigate their way out and ensure they come out safe and sound. In the meantime, the waiting game continues in Chiang Rai, but stay tuned on SBS World News' website and Facebook for any updates. Lee Lin.
Thank you, Omar, and those updates on this developing story will come to you throughout the evening.
Good evening. It began as an adventure and ended in one of the most extraordinary rescues in modern times. For 18 days, the Wild Boars football team remained trapped in a flooded cave in Thailand. The emergency began when the 13-member football team was reported missing in the cave complex. It was 9 days before British divers located the trapped boys and their coach deep inside. 4 days later, a former Thai Navy SEAL died after running out of oxygen. Then, mission accomplished, as the boys were brought out in groups over 3 days. SBS reporter Omar Dabbagh joins us now from outside the hospital in Chiang Rai. Omar, just how are the boys doing?
Good evening to you, Sarah. They remain in quarantine, solitary isolation, doctors say, for about a week or so. Fortunately though, for the boys, the first 8 boys evacuated, they have now seen their parents. For days they were divided by glass. For now they remain in protective suits 2 meters apart as a precaution. But as the world had been hoping for, all the boys, their coach and their rescuers are out of the cave safely. From mission impossible to mission accomplished. A hero's welcome for the Navy SEALs who risked it all, posing for pictures after the last of the trapped boys and their football coach were finally freed. This the triumph Thailand and the world was hoping for.
The best feeling. I don't know how to say it, but it's really good. The boys of the world, they are our kids.
Engineers who've spent days lowering water levels in the caves now pumping their fists in the air. The elation spilling out onto the streets of Chiang Rai with a guard of honour, as one by one the last of the Wild Boars team were taken for medical evaluation. Cheers too for the Thai authorities, their relief palpable.
เป็นความภาคภูมิใจเป็นมิชชั่น possible ของทีมไทยแลนด์ที่ทำได้ ผมอยากให้โป่งผาเป็นโมเดลของประเทศไทยทั้งประเทศ
It had all the hallmarks of a blockbuster. Hollywood producers are already on site. The trapped team's plight captivating the world. A terrific end to a mission that began so ominously with the death of former Thai Navy SEAL Major Saman Gunan. A bittersweet day too for Australian doctor and diver Richard Harris, who has also been hailed a hero after tending to the boys in the cave and helping them get out. He found out his father died just hours after he exited the cave. Dr. Harris, one of 20 Australians assisting with the rescue.
It's amazing what the human being can do. Yeah, there are extraordinary people doing extraordinary things.
It's been revealed the boys were given anti-anxiety medication to stop them from panicking before they were strapped to a diver for the treacherous 4-kilometre journey out. Just in the nick of time too, the water pump that had made the rescue possible bursting and quickly flooding the cave shortly after the last boy was freed. The operation to rescue the boys may be over, but work to ensure their best possible recovery isn't. A heavy police presence remains at the now notorious Tham Luang cave, as doctors investigate the infectious diseases that possibly lived inside. Doctors say the boys lost 2 kilograms each, but only 2 are showing signs of infection.
We are planning to scale back on the preventive medication, but we are still giving medicine to those who have lung infections for the next 7 days. This is the period of time when we will need to take care of them.
After that, they will get to go home, which is where the rescuers are heading now. Heroes, every one of them. And Sarah, the daring rescue electrified the world and unify Thailand, a country that has seen deep divisions in recent years. Divers have praised the efforts of rescuers here, while in Australia there have been calls for Dr. Richard Harris to be named Australian of the Year.
It was an international effort with a worldwide audience, a moment of unity in a world beset by divisions.
Our congratulations, our admiration to the Australian divers, doctors who played such an important role in rescuing those boys from the cave in Thailand.
On Twitter, Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May saluting the bravery of all those involved. And for the football-mad youngsters, a treasured invitation. Manchester United inviting the team to visit Old Trafford next season.
How many of you? 13. Brilliant.
The boys were found by British divers 8 days after they went missing.
47.
The mother of the diver who located them bursting with pride and relief.
Thank God they're all out safely, and they have my love, and I'm delighted for them all.
7 of the divers were from the British Cave Rescue Council. Their colleagues in awe at what they achieved.
They've done something that I think we all thought was barely possible. And they've pulled it off.
Here in Australia, colleagues paying tribute to Dr. Harris, who oversaw the rescue mission from the beginning, staying with the boys in the cave, administering medication.
Harry's given his all, his family have given the support, and we've given the support as well as an organisation, but we now need Harry to be able to be looked after, and Harry's family to be able to look after, and just give them the time and space to get over this really tough event, especially after Harry's put so much into the rescue effort over in Thailand.
Harry's got an incredible way of being methodical and sort of like a linchpin. He does pull together all his skills, and at the same time he's not like a dominating commander. He's extremely supportive. He works and listens to everybody, and he helps put the whole project together.
But for the boys, the ordeal is far from over. Child trauma experts say the emotional recovery of the football team could take some time.
They might have some stress reactions initially, and in general, if we look at groups of children exposed to trauma, there is a small minority that might have longer term stress reactions.
But experts say the fact they endured the ordeal together will help minimise any long-term impacts. Jessica Rowe, SBS World News.
So Sarah, still a long road of recovery for the 13 boys and the coach, and while the world and here in Thailand are celebrating this, no one here is forgetting the courage of the ex-Navy SEAL who died, Suman Gunan. On the day he died last Friday, authorities promised his death would not be in vain, and now we know that is the case. This incredible story of survival, this wonderful ending to a story that captivated the world. Sarah.
Indeed, one very remarkable story. Thank you very much to Omar Dabbagh reporting live there from Thailand. Good evening. The first footage has emerged from the hospital where the 12 Thai boys and their football coach are recovering after being rescued from a flooded cave. There are also extraordinary images of the rescue operation inside the cave that brought to an end the 18-day ordeal. The Thai commander who led the rescue has hailed the multinational effort as a story of global unity.
Here they are, Thailand's most famous football team, still weak, still in isolation, but looking remarkably positive given their ordeal. One boy gives the V for victory sign. They're all about 2 kilos lighter, and they're still at risk of infection. Their parents can only communicate with them through glass. One mum wipes away tears. All of the boys' parents are desperate to hold their children.
The first thing I want to do is hug him. All parents have the same feeling. I want to see the face of my child and embrace him, and ask him how he feels and how he's doing.
Now, for the first time, the Thai Navy SEALs have shared footage of the mission itself. It provides a compelling picture of how the 3-day operation unfolded. The risks were massive, oxygen levels were falling, and there was a high chance of more rain flooding the cave complex. Each boy was cocooned in a special stretcher and carried out by hand. In parts of the cave where it was impossible to stand, rescuers rigged up a pulley system to transport the boys across the cave's rocky expanses.
We had to basically set up
rope systems and high lines to be able to, safely put them in a harness and bring them across large open areas.
In the flooded section, scuba divers strapped the children underneath them and carried them. They were underwater for up to half an hour at a time. Divers had practiced their techniques in a swimming pool with local children about the same height and weight as the boys. One of the biggest risks was that the youngsters would panic. There had been several reports that the boys were heavily sedated during the journey. Watch this boy's arm as it falls limply by his side.
We think that our plan is perfect. We try and try and try. We test and test and try. It okay. And you got the best team. So you have to believe him.
Departing from Chiang Rai Airport, one of the British divers who first found the boys rejected being labelled a hero.
It's not like that. If you could do the same for someone else's child, I hope.
The Australian doctor who was intimately involved in the operation can be seen in this photograph. Dr. Richard Harris is pictured with his dive partner Craig Challen and the Thai medical team now looking after the boys. In a statement, the men said, "The favourable outcome that's been achieved is almost beyond our imagination. We particularly would like to thank the players and their coach for placing their trust in us. We wish them a speedy recovery." This is the football field where the Mupa or wild boars train, and where the boys spent the morning before cycling to the caves a short distance away. The cave where the boys would ultimately be trapped for more than 2 weeks. Once the boys are out of hospital, you could imagine this is where they'd hope to be. In Chiang Rai Province, Thailand, Omar Dabbagh, SBS World News.